Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to do our first chapter of history, that's what, where, how and when. Now, dear students, if you want to find out what happened yesterday, what will you do? You will ask your parents, you may ask your grandparents also. You may search it in the newspaper or you may search it in the television. You may get every information of yesterday. And if you want to know something about last year, then again you may ask your parents or you may search it in the net. You will get every information of last year. But did you ever think, if you want to get information of 500 or about 2000, 3000 or 8000 years ago, where will you get the information? Definitely you will search it in your history books or you will go to the museum. But did you ever think, how did these people in the history book get the information? How did they get the information in the museum? How in the museum it is written that this cloth or this painting is about this much years old? How can they justify that this belonged to this era and this belonged to that era? Okay, this is the amazing world of history. Now let's find out how the history of all these things are found out. What are the things we want to know about the past? Yes, the things we want to know about the past are what kind of food they ate, what kind of people, what kind of clothes those people wore, what kind of houses they lived in, and what kind of profession they followed. Like, were they hunters, farmers, merchants, priests, craftsmen, artisan, or musician? Or you would like to know that what kind of games the children of those days used to play, what kind of toys they had. So this is knowing history. Now before we find out all these things, let's find out where these people lived. The basic thing we need to live is food, clothes and shelter. In food, we want water is the main thing. Air is abundant and available everywhere. So water is the main thing we need to live a livelihood. So all the settlements in the early ages, they were near the rivers like Ganga, Narmada, all these things. And these people were very good gatherers. They very well knew about the forest and the trees. They collected roots, fruits and other things from the forest for food. They also hunted animals. They were very skilled in these kind of activities. They also lived in the mountain area. The Suleiman Hills, the Karthar in Pakistan, the Garo, the Vindhyas in India, all these hills show the settlement of early people. The Suleiman and the Karthar Hills in northwest, here you can find some traces in the map. You can find some traces of civilization, and this civilization is about 8,000 years ago. Men and women here grew crops like wheat and barley. They also reared animal and they also had sheep, goat and cattle, and they lived in villages. Now coming to the northeast area of India. See in the map, you can see the Garo Hills. Now in the middle, if you come near, you can see the Vindhyas near Madhya Pradesh. You can see it is Vindhyas. Now early people, the ancient people, like you can say 2500 years ago, people started settling over here. Over here near the Ganga. The people here grew the crop of rice. Now near the Ganga flourished the, you can say, golden kingdom of Magadha. You must have heard about Magadha. It flourished near the Ganga valley. Now you can see the people have travelled from Suleiman Hills to they lived there 8,000 years ago, and after they travelled near the Garo Hills and then they came near the Vindhyas. What does this say? This say that the people move from here to there for livelihood. There may be some reason for which the people moved here from one place to another. It might be some war, it might be some natural disaster, it might be for trade and business, it might be religion, it might be just for adventure. Livelihood means after living for many years in some place, the food or the other things might not be available that much. So they went to a better area to find out food. Wars. Some king must have attacked their area and the people had to leave that place. Natural disaster like earthquake or floods can make the people move from here to there. Business and trade, people for doing business, they just travel from one place to another. Even to preach religion, people go from one place to another. Even for adventure also, people travel. So this traveling led to an cultural enrichment. People learnt many things about the culture. They learnt many food habits. They learnt many kind of music. They exchanged many kind of recipes in food. Even in music, they exchanged many kind of ragas. Like this, the fusion of culture took place. Now talking about the name of our country. How did our country get the name? Our country has two names, India and Bharat. The word India comes from Indus, Sindhu in Sanskrit. The Iranian who came to India called Indus as Hindos or Indos. And like this, the area or the land to the east of the river is called India, the Indus. The land near the east of Indus river is called India. And how did Bharat get the name? The name Bharat was used for the group of people who lived in northwest, which is mentioned in Rig Veda. The earliest composition of Sanskrit dated 3,500 years ago, which was later used as the name of our country. So this much for today. We will do the next part in tomorrow's session.